Alex Becker is arguably the most influential crypto influencer based on the numbers and based on how he has the ability to move the markets and the amount of people who are following him. But he is not charting any of these patterns. And as someone who has been a chartist and technical analyst and pro trader for the last 20 years, that's what we're going to do today. We are going to predict what might happen with Alex Becker's portfolio based on the charts and the charts alone, and see why he's actually bullish about a lot of these, and do the charts agree with his bullish outlook. So without further ado, let's take a look at Alex Becker's entire portfolio from a technical analysis standpoint and see if we can project how high these coins are about to run on the next leg up for the bulls. All right, guys, let's get right into it. First and foremost, let's get a 10% minimum follower to subscriber like ratio on this channel. I have 450,000 subs on my other channel, but we are starting over with trading only on this channel. Right now, I think we're like at 5,800 subs. So we're down in the barrels right now. So if you can get at least 580 likes, if you don't see 580 likes on this video, just go ahead and like it right now. Thank you. Let's continue. All right, guys. So first of all, who is Alex Becker? Well, he used to make a bunch of videos about how to make money online and basically make a lot of videos for just bros out there who want to make money. And then all of a sudden, 3 years ago, he made his first video about NFTs. And then it just went full on all crypto videos ever since then. Okay, so he's not per se a crypto trader. He just was making millions doing stuff in the online space. And then he sold what was called Hyros.com for $110 million, which is his SaaS company, which was an AI ad tracking software. But he also recently, yes, did start Neo Tokyo Codes, of which, yes, I am Citizen 138. I paid $35,000 for this thing, and now people are offering me $4,300 for it. The only NFT I bought, which was only a reason because I wanted to become part of Neo Tokyo to get access to potential some developers there, because I did also have a crypto gaming project that has been on indefinite hold since then. But regardless of that, okay, Alex Becker sold Hyros for $110 million. That's a fuck load of money. Okay, that's some fuck you money right there. And with that said, Alex Becker does say exactly what he is holding and what he's part of. And so you can go to his profile right here and it will pull up this list of everything that he has been part of. And he's simply stated many times that these are all projects that he is a marketing advisor for, which is his background is marketing. So he's very good at reaching the masses, reaching viral content, and the concept of, like, if you make a very technical video like what I'm about to do today, probably, it doesn't reach a mass audience because it's too technical and people don't understand a lot of the stuff because it's technical analysis. But what his strategy is for his marketing in his YouTube videos is basically, buy this, it's going up, based on the narrative of AI in gaming, which is what his niche really is and that he's talking about, which is very simple for people to actually do because they don't have to think. All they have to do is buy and wait and then hope that he's right. Okay. But he has said some dangerous things along the way, such as this tweet right here that says, if 74K was the eternal top, I don't even want my profits. I'll just move to California, make 250K per year working at Chipotle. Like, whatever. I don't need this. Obviously, he's trolling and making a joke based on the fact that they just raised minimum wage prices to a crazy amount. But he said this right here, I don't even want my profits if 74K is the top. And he also made a reference to another tweet that he either deleted or I can't find it, but basically just saying, if the ship goes down, I'm going down all in with it, which is a dangerous thing to say to people who are following, because for me as a trader who's been doing this for 20 years and any other smart trader out there knows that this is a game of survival and you always have to manage the downside risk. And if you're a get rich or die try investor, yes, you could get rich on going all in on a bunch of different scenarios. But if you're constantly using the strategy of no matter what, if this goes down, then I'm just going to go down with the ship because I'm going to go all in and I hope I'm right. Eventually, one of those times you're going to be wrong and you're going to lose everything and you're not going to be able to survive to live another day. Now, obviously, Alex Becker just sold his company for $110 million. He has the extra capital to go back in. But a lot of people who are following him, a lot of people who are probably going to watch this video, don't have the backup money to be like, okay, well, I fucked up and that one was wrong. Now I'll just pull money out of my checking account and then buy again because I was wrong that time. So It's extremely important to always prepare for the worst case scenario at all times and basically plan for maybe you're going to be right. But the reality is a lot of time people are wrong. In fact, 95 to 98% of all traders fail because they are wrong more often than they are not. And they approach trading with the get rich or die trying. They go all in fantasizing about how much money they can make if they're right and don't plan for what if they are wrong. Okay, so I don't recommend going down with a sinking ship mentality. It's just not going to work in the long run. Even if you do hit the lottery a few times, you're going to hit the lottery and then you're going to go all in and with all or nothing another time. And that one time that you end up with nothing, you literally end up with nothing. So he's an interesting character for sure and quite entertaining to follow. He's actually been quite well at finding the narratives and creating momentum, whether he is the initiator of the momentum. Obviously, he does have a lot of following. You can see he gets, hundreds of thousands of impressions on some of his tweets, even upwards of millions. So he does have a lot of influence and also hundreds of thousands of views on his YouTube channel, of which he basically just says, these are the coins to buy them, they're going up. That's the most simple explanation that you can possibly have. No reality of here's what happens if we're wrong. He basically just says, if I'm wrong, then we're all fucked. And he'll go back to making $250K per year at Chipotle, but he's got hundreds of millions in the bank. All right. So with that said, let's just take a look from a technical analysis perspective, some of his top coins. I'm not going to go through all these, but I'm going to go through some of my favorites. I've basically put a little bit of a list over here, B list called Becker list. And these are some of the coins that I also have investments in and current trades in, just because I like the charts the best. I don't care what the narrative is on any of these. Obviously, I want to take advantage of this, and you can too. The coins that Alex Becker talks about, he has a big following that will continually buy these up. And typically, the way a pump and dump works in the grand scheme of things is you want people to be continually buying things as prices go higher, and you need that liquidity and buying pressure as things go higher to be able to sell your bags to. So what we can do here is take advantage of higher prices to then sell for profits. The question is, what's going to trigger these actual moves from a technical standpoint, and also where are going to be the prime opportunities to be locking in profits, okay? So first of all, let's just take a look at Bitcoin here and gauge where we're at on Bitcoin. Right now, I was semi-bearish as we broke the 50-day moving average. I shorted right here, locked in my profits right here, and then I was just sitting here neutral, not long, not short, up until we broke above this descending trend line right here, and that triggered me to start loading up on some altcoins. So right now, from a technical perspective, this is what I call a survival breakout pattern, where we have the first initial rise to the upside, then a pullback, and then a ascending triangle breakout formation that we can see right here, followed by the breakout. The first target of that pattern is to retest the highs, and then we can continue up from that pattern to break out again to push to the upside. Now, a technical breakout. Brief interruption here, guys. Did you know that 75% of traders have accounts under $25,000? This creates a huge problem because even if you double that account in a year, which is almost impossible, you're still only making $25,000. Introducing Hydra funding, where you can potentially get access up to $500,000 in capital. All you have to do, guys, is sign up for a challenge account, which is going to give you potentially access up to $500,000. And if you earn a 10% profit in this demo account without going into a 5% loss overall or a 4% loss in a day, you will then pass their evaluation phase and yes, get access to an account with the selected size account. And now, instead of trying to double a $10,000 account, you could potentially earn only 10% on a $100,000 account to earn the same level of profits. And the benefits of this are huge. Rather than risking your entire $10,000 on one account, you can use just $1,000 to potentially get access to $100,000 in capital. You can trade crypto, Forex, stocks, CFTs, gold, oil, everything under the sun, all on MT4 and MT5. If you're interested, if you have an account under $25,000, like 75% of traders out there, you're not going to make any money with that account because it's too small. Get access to pro level funding and pro level capital with Hydra funding. Link's going to be below. Of this pattern, as far as just a technical guide, now I don't take this with a full, analysis, but you can take the bottom of the triangle and measure it to the top. And we can copy and paste this and extend it from the top of the actual breakout. And that's kind of the projected target for just the pattern and the pattern alone, which typically, or is right now, is at about $88,000. Now, psychological levels, obviously, a lot of people are calling for 100K. That's going to be a big barrier. I imagine there's going to be a lot of selling pressure up here at 100K if we even do break out above this pattern to the upside. There's definitely going to be a significant amount of volatility, buying, selling, massive FOMO. The news is going to be going crazy about Bitcoin 100K, Bitcoin 100K, Bitcoin 100K. Everyone and their fucking grandma is going to be sitting at the dinner table saying, holy shit, we're at 100K. Should we be buying right now? Okay, so that's going to be an area that's probably going to be a great area to be locking in profits. Pretty much the whole way up to 100K, I think would be areas to be locking in profits to ensure that you're making gains along the way up. But I think we could even potentially go as high as 120 to 150,000 on Bitcoin if this breaks out. Now, obviously, that's all hearsay, hindsight. Who fucking knows what's going to happen? But to break out the initial technical trigger breakout, projected target is just 88,000, and then a psychological barrier at 100. If we can consolidate, form up another breakout pattern at 100, the next leg would be pushing 120 to 150,000. Now, if that does happen, these altcoins are going to go on a massive fucking run, which is, how big is that from current prices percentage-wise? Let's say 100K is about 48%. So not a big gain really here for Bitcoin, 48%. But if we went to 150,000 from here, that's about 123% push, okay? So 120% move on Bitcoin is going to be, probably 3 to 5x more across the board on altcoins and in reality of what you're going to see in your gains. Okay, my mouse is... All right, guys, so looking at Ethereum, of which also is part of Alex Becker's list, just looking at the current chart right now and where we could project a potential breakout is, one, we did just break out above this descending trend line, which was the first initial push to really get some momentum going back in favor of altcoins. Now, we really need to break out above these recent pivotal horizontal lines at about 3,200, and there's also the longer term trend line from the top right here, which is sitting right about where price action is now. In addition to that, we are just testing the 50-day moving average, which was the actual breakdown point of Ethereum back here after this spiked right into this level, faking everyone out, thinking, okay, we're going to get back up to the all-time highs here from the recent 2024 run. Wrong, huge sell-off right from there. So that is the trigger that needs to be taking place for Ethereum to be pumping and really just get momentum going for altcoins across the board. Because as of right now, Bitcoin dominance is still extremely strong. If we look at BTC.D, we can see Bitcoin dominance just grinding up. All this means is that Bitcoin is rising much faster than altcoins across the board. And we've been in this trend for quite some time. We really haven't seen altcoins be that strong as of right now in the last couple months. Even Bitcoin just dropped slightly just yesterday, and altcoins were down 5 to 10%, while Bitcoin was down like 0.5%. So there's definitely a lot of sensitivity right now in altcoins. But looking at the Becker list, let's start off with Node AI GPU. You can buy this on Uniswap, maybe on Gate.io also, but mostly just on Uniswap wrapped Ethereum. Now, right now, this went on a monster run, peaking out here. It's down like 60, 70% from the top, and we're now breaking out above this breakout trigger right now. It did break out above that level and then sold off, and now we're still holding up. Similar pattern to Ethereum. In fact, a lot of these patterns are similar to Ethereum, but if we break out above this level right here at about 170, I think that's going to be the trigger for us to really push up and retest the all-time high level at about 263, 267 to the high here of about 292. Obviously, that whole number resistance, about $3, is going to be a barrier to breakthrough. But what I do think would be a probability of happening is if we get back up in that level, we form up some sort of breakout pattern on GPU, where we then have some sort of ascending trend here, and then some sort of secondary breakout formation potential, and then that would be a flat top ascending triangle breakout, what I call a kryptonite pattern, which is basically a coin breaking out to all-time highs, and that formation at $3 resistance would then trigger a much greater move to the upside, potentially $4 to $6 per coin if this actually breaks out to the upside. Conservatively, I have profit targets of just locking in gains upwards of $4, but I think it could go as high as $6 per coin if Ethereum and Bitcoin do get those runs between 88,000 to 150 on Bitcoin. Ator is another one from Alex Becker's list that he has on here. This is another one that, as of right now, did see this massive dump to the downside. Okay, a lot of these coins ripped to the downside, about 64% off the actual lows. The pattern on this one is not as exciting. Now, I do like what we're looking at here, but I like the other ones a little bit better. And I believe this one is a little bit lower in liquidity. But if we look at this actual triangular pattern formation, that's going on right now on Ator. If we break it above this descending trend line, that's going to be the signal to push this back up to the all-time high with a lot of resistance here at about 350. Up in this zone, and then just a liquidity spike past $4 per coin. That's really just short sellers getting screwed over and then everyone dumping on each other's faces along the way down. So for me, conservative price target here would be about 340 to 350, retesting this zone. From there, it's just a matter of what's the formation that happens after this move up to the upside. Does it come back down and retest something similar and do a ascending triangle breakout like this, which would be a much more clear signal to then buy in this zone, buy on a dip after the first push up here, and then you can ride up another pattern breakout, which would probably be extended to $5 per coin, upwards of $6.50 on Ator if that pattern breaks out. Right now, the first initial move for a lot of these coins is just going to be that move off the lows, which is that first initial spike up to the next resistance point, which currently right now is going to be about $3.50 to $4 per coin on Ator. Super is another one that he talks quite a bit about. This went on a massive run from about 0.09 cents up to 74, then all the way up to $1.59. This is in a similar pattern where this is having a descending resistance breakout happening right now. It failed to break out right here, but that's actually a good thing because it allowed this chart to actually mature a little bit more and create a more bullish pattern. I actually got long right here, locked in profits, and then stopped out. And then we got long again right off this support level. And now we have yet another survival pattern breakout where the lead in trend is forming, followed by a revival pattern breakout ascending triangle, of which now we have 1, 2, 3 tests at this level. Now, the more times you test a resistance level, the higher probability that breakout occurs. Now, for me, the first initial profit targets are just going to be that quick spike up to about 140, this resistance level. Then obviously from there, the next level is the all-time high pivoted about 159. Now, what happens next from that level is anybody's guess, right? Is it going to form an ascending triangle breakout? Just for a reference, so you understand what I'm talking about, how these patterns form over the long run is, see, we saw a similar big rally to the upside, and then things just kind of halted out, right? Things halted, retested 1, 2, 3, came back down, and then what did it form? It formed an ascending triangle breakout. That was then buyable in a much more clear and mature pattern to be anticipating the breakout, of which it finally broke out, and then that led to the next leg up. So at this point right now, we're buying that potential dip that could then lead into the ascending triangle breakout. For example, just coming back up into this level, testing that resistance, then potentially coming making a new lower high, and then that just ascending trend continues to form up. And then retest for a third or fourth time, and then you get a much more clear breakout signal for that potentially to move upwards of, $3 per coin on Super up in this territory based on this breakout. Obviously, $2 is going to be the next psychological barrier from an all-time high breakout. But based on this projected pattern, I would say that's, 68 cents upwards of $1.50. So about $1 per coin from here. That's, looking about $2.50 to $3 would be the next psychological barrier on a blow off top, and then a downside push from there. So that's Super. I really like the chart. I definitely have a position open on Super. Beam, another big gaming coin that he's talking about. Similar pattern that's happening here, right? Lead-in trend, descending trend line, potential breakout, yet to break out above that level. We have the horizontal resistance at 0.02666. Now, if it can break out above that level, as well as the 50-day moving average, and then start forming a continuation of this pattern, that's going to be the first initial leg up, of which I'll be locking in gains along the way. First peak resistance, second, and then third peak resistance, all potential profit targets here on Beam based off of just this triangle pattern right here. What happens after that is anybody's guess, right? Does it come back up into this level, quick flag, and just skyrocket to the upside? Or is it going to form a longer term, again, ascending triangle, similar to what happened right here, right? The rise up, pullback, consolidation, pattern maturity, triangle breakout, followed by this, right? So triangle breakout trading in a bull market is a very profitable strategy. And now we just don't know what's going to happen, right? We have the triangle breakout here, huge rally to the upside, consolidation, triangle formation. We're potentially getting a breakout. We're in pre-breakout right now. And then going to see that leg up, of which we can take advantage of. And then let's see if we have another triangle formation, of which we can then retrade, potentially this breakout above all-time highs, and then that extended target. Say we go from here, copy and paste this. Oops. Why can't I get this here? Okay. Get out of my way, guys. There we go. Really struggling with this one, huh? Now, extending that from the actual breakout point, that's given us a profit target at about 6.2 cents, which would be, from the current prices, you know, about 156% rally from where we are now. That's just short-term projected analysis. What happens long-term, I don't fucking know. I'm not a long-term investor. Alex Becker even said that if we start getting these pumps, he's going to be locking in gains along the way, which that's typically what people do when things go up if they want to keep their money. Most people watch these things go up, never sell because they get too greedy, thinking that it's going to never stop going up, and then things dump 80, 90%, and you're like, fuck, why didn't I lock in some gains? So for me, I'm always locking in gains no matter what as things go up. PAL, similar situation, right? We saw a beautiful triangle breakout that happened back here on PAAL. That led to a massive rise in price action. Now price is consolidating again and another potential breakout formation. As of right now, it is yet to break out. We're still premature in what's going on, but PAL is another big AI token that has definite high potential, okay? Basically what I want to see here on PAAL is something formatting like this, right? Typically when you have multiple areas of resistance both break at the same time, that is what triggers big moves. And that's what we could potentially see here on PAL is a retest of this 1, 2, then it would be third times breakout, as well as then breaking it above this level, maybe even do something like this and then break out of this triangle here at about 55 cents. Obvious next profit targets would be the all-time high peaks here at about 70 to 90 cents. Again, what happens from there is anybody's guess, but I will be locking in gains along the way up if I was having a position on this, and then potentially looking to add on the dip. And if the chart matured a little bit more and then formed a breakout, that's another pattern to play for the next leg up. Potentially, right? If we look at the extended push of right now off those lows, from a breakout up here, that would push this upwards of about $1.45, of which from the current price today is about 200% gain, right? Who doesn't want a 200% gain? That would be nice from today's profit target. Illuvium, I'm not too interested in, but it does have a nice oversold pattern here. It's just, you know, little bit larger coin. AIOZ is one that I actually like a lot more. If we look at the actual breakout here from a long-term scale, I love this chart just simply because we have a little bit more recent price action data. High here. We haven't retested that high here, but we have this nice looking breakout formation pattern, which is probably going to lead to this retesting those highs, right? We could even come back down and retest support and then come back up and retest this high right just above $1. And then if we had a pullback off that level and then a third test, that is going to be an absolutely beautiful breakout pattern to buy in at about $1.20. Obviously, buying in now is a much higher return on investment, but it is also pre-breakout. So buying in right now, the next profit target is just this level right here at about 115. Then if it matures a little bit more and has an actual kryptonite breakout pattern, and then the third test to break out of over 120, that's going to be a massive, massive mover. I think that's going to be at least a $2 per coin breakout here, even potentially as high as $2.50 to $3 per coin. But as of right now, AIOZ, I love the pattern right here, even as low as buying is 58 cents if it pulls all the way back there. Let this pattern right here mature. And then that breakout, lock in gains here along the way up into 116, 115. If it does pull back and consolidate, add again on the dip. And then if it hits this level for a third time and breaks out, that's going to be a massive breakout buy trigger for the next leg up to $2 plus on AIOZ. S-Fund also, I like this one simply for the fact that it is so oversold on the weekly chart right into a huge pivot support area. We can see this order block here in this level off that candle, also retesting the 50-day moving average on the weekly chart. Weekly fear and greed is super in the dumps right now. And this is obviously probably the biggest launch pad for gaming tokens. And so I don't think they're going anywhere. It is extremely suppressed in price. For me, I don't have a position open on this, but I'm looking to potentially be buying down here right off this level. And then who knows what's going to happen, right? This chart, there isn't really a chart here other than just buying under this breakout here. These are a lot of people getting liquidated on their stops below this low. From there, next profit target for me would just be coming back up and retesting highs at $5, $6 per share. From there, who knows what's going to happen with the chart pattern. Got to wait to see what kind of maturity happens on that chart for then another potential breakout pattern to even go higher from here. Is it going to go as high as recent all-time highs? I don't know. That's quite a bit of ways away. A lot of price movement up to the upside, but it doesn't mean that it can't happen. For me, the short-term target is $5 per coin to $5.60 recent highs. IMX, another bigger one that I've been watching, not really that interested. In fact, looking at just now, it actually is in a bearish head and shoulders channel, right? Pattern. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, neckline. So a breakdown below these lows, that's going to be nasty. Probably going to come back down to retest of these levels. But if it can maintain this trend right here and then have some sort of formation on this triangle, right? Resistance, support, consolidate, break at about 250. Next profit target is going to be that level here at about 325. Recent highs here. And then if it can form a triangle within that, then break at about 360, that's going to be a very bullish pattern to break at all-time highs. Obviously, think about the downside, though. If this rally doesn't exist that we're looking for, none of these altcoins are going to do absolutely anything. But after that breaks at above this all-time high, if it had a nice breakout consolidation, easiest target there is going to be $5 per coin, which is a very easy round whole number. Prime is another one that he's been talking about quite a bit. This one is very volatile. I don't see a whole lot of patterns happening right here. This one is just kind of fucking erratic. So as far as charting this, it's a little bit more difficult just because there's so it's just a lot of ups and downs and big swings. There isn't technically a chart pattern to be had as of right now, other than just madness. So this one is a little bit hard to chart. Obviously, he talks about this one a lot, is very bullish on it. So for me, this one needs to mature a little bit more and form up some sort of formation that gives you a clear area of entry, clear area of exit, and a pattern that can project some sort of profit target. What else do we got here that I like? OXO is another one trading on DEXs. The price action is interesting. You can see this looking at these candles. They're very tightly consolidated, but when it does move, it can go from 10 cents up to 50 cents. A nice breakout pattern there, about 500%. For me on this, similar pattern. This thing needs to consolidate and mature. And form up something like this, retest this level, and then give us a clear breakout of that, and then have some sort of horizontal resistance here and support to be basing our chart off of. And so for me, I think it's probably going to do that around 35 cents, then a break at above 35 or above this descending channel right here. First target's always going to be this next peak resistance, 41. Second target is 51 cents. Then from there, is it going to form up some sort of triangle pattern breakout to either sell up here, buy support down here, which is probably going to retest this level, and then that's going to have a much more mature ascending triangle breakout pattern to then rebuy the all-time high breakout up above here. But a lot of times, if you just go right into trying to buy this as soon as it's at resistance, it's easy to this just be a bull trap, and then we see the sell-off, and then a maturity of the chart, and then the breakout, okay? What else we got? Tau. I like Tau. TAO. This thing has just been consolidating, still consolidating. Now, I do think there is potential for this to even come back down and retest the support zone, because it is just hasn't been showing a lot of momentum, but I do think it's a good buy just in the sense of the narrative behind the coin. But right now, if it can break out above this descending trend, as well as get above these pivot highs at about 400, obviously 400 is a whole number. So I do like the fact that it is consolidating and remaining above the low of this candle. As long as it remains above the high or the low of this candle, that is super bullish. And as long as it can stay here within this and then break at above 400, that is a big buy signal for me for this to continually push up, potentially go right to next whole number at $500 per coin. And then from there, obviously, the next pivot levels are about 620 and then 755. From there, that's just the initial run up, and then let's see how this matures for a secondary push and chart pattern setup to actually trade. But for this, the initial push up, locking in gains to retest those all-time highs. Desync is another one that he's been talking about quite a bit. Okay, similar pattern here. Descending channel that is yet to break out. This is a descending triangle potential breakdown pattern. So you can't count out the fact that what if this thing just gets liquidated? Boom, all these stops get taken out, and then this thing dumps. But a lot of times what we've seen happen is they do get these small spikes to the downside, retesting lows, and it turns into a bear trap, and then a big push to the upside. And when you see a bear trap, you see a fake out below, and it just stops being taken out and then closes back above that level. That is a huge bullish signal. Now, if it can do a trap here as well as break this descending trend line up, that was not very straight. That is going to be a double bullish signal for this to then retest this high, consolidate, retest this high, consolidate, retest this high, consolidate. Then from there, how does this thing mature, right? So obviously, first initial profit targets on this are about 0.99, then 11, then about 13. And then if it can form up a triangle pattern breakout within this thing here at about 13,514, that is going to be a kryptonite pattern with a huge upside profit of about at least 0.000, whatever, how many fucking zeros are here, 2 to 2.5 on Destra, Desync. Miria is another one that I do like here. All right, this thing has sold off massively off the highs. Even just this push right here, all right, this was down 65%. So with that said, there's a lot of reaction that can be had here. On Miria, it's also retesting the support zone. I did buy in on this dip right here, and then I locked in 25% gain there, and then rebought right here for the potential next leg up as it's breaking above this level. If it breaks at above this high at about 0.064, looking for that to push up and retest this level here at about 0.0087. Now, if it can break out and consolidate in that formation up in here, and then mature, have some sort of trend, that is going to be what we call a survival pattern breakout at about 0.009. And then that breakout right there, the next targets are going to be those next two pivots, 12, 15. And then from there, it's anybody's guess about how this thing is going to consolidate and mature And again, if this can create a mature flat top triangle breakout, basically around these levels, and have that mature over the next 6 months or so, that is going to be a massive breakout here at about 15. And then the next target for that would probably be about 3 to 2.5, somewhere up in this range. Okay. But it's not going to happen overnight. You have to see that, things take time to mature. Okay. So you need patience. But anyways, those are kind of the top plays that I'm watching that we can look at from Alex Becker's play that have very bullish charts that can actually be tradable in the sense of a chart pattern, right? I don't care about narratives as much as I care about charts. Obviously, I look for narratives to take advantage of the hype and momentum. But when you can combine that with a chart and an entry and exit plan, that ensures profits to be made and profits to be kept. Most people never lock in profits because they get so fanatical about how high they think things can go, and they don't have exit plans. And also they don't have exit plans if they are wrong. So for every trade that I ever make, I'm looking for at least a 2-to-1 risk reward. That means whatever I'm planning on making to the upside, I will only accept, half of that on the downside or less, okay? So there has to be an area where you're entering here and you're looking for this much profit, and your risk has to be half of that down here, okay? So at least a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio. Most people just buy here and fucking either get rich or die trying, okay? And that is not a sustainable long-term strategy in this game. You have to be able to manage the risk, and that's what I've been doing for the last 20 years in trading. So anyways, guys, like, comment, subscribe. Go ahead and look at this video. That was a long one. If you want more of this, definitely hit the like button. And also, if you want to see exactly what I'm buying and selling in real time, where my profit targets are, where my stop levels are, the Wolfpack Discord link is going to be below. Again, I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you for tuning in.